Hey guys, it's me, Toe Knows from the Toe Knows Everything podcast and at GTA Sportsplex on Instagram. We are here at Popeye Supplements today in Woodbridge, one of our sponsors. We're going to be talking about athletic supplementation and nutrition. My journey with supplements and nutrition started back in 1993-94 when I convinced a couple of buddies of mine to throw in about $3,500 each, and we opened Health and Nutrition Warehouse in North York. This was pre-internet when there was a lot of mail order stuff going on. It was the era of pumping iron. Schwarzenegger was still big. Now supplementation online has completely changed the game, and we're going to talk to the guys here from Popeye Supplements in Woodbridge about that business and about sports nutrition in general. My business lasted about a year. I got the shit completely kicked out of me. I got my MBA from the School of Freaking Hard Knocks, but it taught me a lot of business lessons, and we're going to talk to the guys here about the sports nutrition business and athletic supplementation. Let's go inside. Hey guys, how are you? It's me, Toe, from the Toe Knows Everything podcast and at GTA Sportsplex on Instagram. I'm super excited to be here at Popeye Supplements Woodbridge today with Rob, our health and supplementation specialist. We're going to talk everything from the sports business to supplementation and nutrition in the 21st century. So Rob, super excited to have you here. Thanks for doing this.
Pleasure. Thank you.
I appreciate it. So back in 93, 94, I was telling Luca, our producer, that I was in the supplementation business. I opened an independent supplement store called Health and Nutrition Warehouse. Okay. We didn't really know much about supplements, but we were a bunch of young guys, and we loved working out. And we said, hey, you know what? This is the business we want to be in. This is pre-internet. It was mail order. So this is why I'm completely intrigued and fascinated by the supplementation business. So I'm super excited to be here at Popeyes. We're going to talk about some of your best-selling supplements, how supplementation and nutrition has evolved over the last 25 years, and where you see supplementation in the future, especially for athletes, because at Sportsplex, we've got all kinds of athletes. We've got basketball players, soccer players, hockey players coming to train, dryland training, and I got to tell you, 99% of these guys are supplementing. So obviously, supplementation is either giving them a competitive edge or it's keeping their levels in terms of nutrition as high as possible. So how did you get into this business? How did you get into supplementation and nutrition?
So personally for myself, I am currently playing in a semi-pro football league, as well as I do have some background into the health and fitness industry. So what drove me to come to Popeye Supplements directly is going to be what they provide. At the end of the day, it's the quality behind the products, it's the vascularity of what we do offer in the facility, as well as at the end of the day, being able to have the best cost per serving as well.
That's amazing. So generally, you offer a little bit of everything to all of your customers in terms of best pricing, quality of product, and knowledge, because you're super knowledgeable. I've been here before. We're standing here at your new shake bar, and you are really knowledgeable about your products, and we're going to talk a little bit about the products and how things have evolved in terms of sports nutrition. Yeah. Shakes weren't big 20 years ago. They were with the bodybuilding community, protein shakes, but now you see everyone taking more of a general health approach where, you know, someone who just wants to maintain their fitness is supplementing with shakes. So you've obviously added this beautiful shake bar. How do shakes play into this business?
I mean, a big component when it comes to the protein shakes is going to be the recovery factor. At the end of the day, whether you're your average Joe going to the gym or you're five-star athlete going into your next year's school, protein powder is going to be something that significantly helps out. For instance, the one that we like to highlight is the Magnum Quattro. The reasoning behind it is you get more than just a single type of protein out of it. It's an egg base, a milk base, a whey base, and a casein isolate. These are time-release proteins so that the athlete or the average Joe gets more protein in a longer period of time. The added benefit behind this product as well is it has added flaxseed in there, so it's going to help out with promoting lean muscle mass and digestive enzymes to make sure everything in the product breaks down.
Right. So the old school mentality used to be that, hey, you want protein, drink eggs, basically raw eggs, or eat a steak, and you'll get the protein that you need. Why do you need this kind of supplementation, especially for today's athlete? Like, you're playing semi-pro football, obviously a high-contact sport, a lot of wear and tear on the body. Eggs and steak just don't cut it anymore, right?
Well, I mean, granted, I do recommend food over supplements any day of the week, but the big factor behind why this protein powder is going to help you out in a longer period of time is due to the fact of the quality behind it and the absorption rate. Once you're done your training, whether it be weight training or on the field, on the ice, on the court, wherever it may be, you're already broken down your muscle fibers. You need to make sure that it absorbs into your system in a faster capacity to help the rebuilding process. If you're not going to be adding protein in after your workout, you have a potential chance of hitting a metabolic state where your muscle fibers break down on itself. And it's ideal to make sure that the protein is being absorbed into your system after your workout so that you prevent that from happening.
Right, and a lot of this stuff is now pharmaceutical grade, right?
Yeah.
So things have really changed. Back in the 80s and 90s, I don't think supplements in essence were pharmaceutical grade. It was basically a health product, but not pharmaceutical grade. Today we know that science is backing all of these products, right? And it's tested in a lab so that people know what you're getting is of the highest standard.
Yeah, the big thing about it when it comes to the supplement industry is they've gone through those further testing. So for instance, GMP approval is one of the biggest testers that they like to go with the majority of the products, and that shows that the quality of product is going to be what you're producing into your system.
Okay, so as a pro athlete, tell me what it is. What are the essential supplements that you need to maintain peak performance? Would you say protein, creatine? What are your top 3 picks, let's say?
So if I were to go top 3, definitely would have protein in there for sure. Next to that would be an omega-3 fatty acid. Reasoning behind that one is it's because, realistically speaking, we're doing so much wear and tear when it comes to our joints. We want to make sure that we're taking care of them. So you have your omega-3s to help with joint care.
So is the omega-3 like a lubrication for the joints?
I would definitely say that it's a lubrication towards the joint, but it's also going to help out with brain function, heart function, and insulin sensitivity. So when your insulin levels are too high, it's going to give your body too much stress on your system. So this is a great way to combat the stresses on your system so that you're able to go through your workouts in a higher capacity.
Okay, so you said protein, you've got your omega-3s, and would creatine be number 3?
I would actually say our Veggie Greens would be number 3. Reasoning behind that is, for 1 scoop of the Veggie Greens, you do get 8 servings of vegetables right off the bat. One thing that the product also does is helps keep your system alkaline. When your system's more alkaline, you stay sickless for longer. And especially for athletes, and it does help out with the average Joe as well, but after you're done working out, your body's going to be able to absorb everything, the goods and the bads. So with having the Veggie Greens into your system and keeping your system more alkaline, you stay sickless for longer, you're able to train more frequently, and it's going to help when it helps because you're tackling your CNS at a little bit higher.
Right, and your acidity levels play a big part in your general health, right? If you have too much acid, could lead to things like cancer, et cetera, right? So this is super important, and that's why the Veggie Greens are a key to optimal nutrition.
Exactly, and at the end of the day, the healthier you are, the better you are. The better you are, the better you perform. The better you perform, the better you feel.
I want to talk to you a little bit about creatine. I guess the creatine's right here.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, it just broke through and it exploded, and everyone was talking creatine, especially in the bodybuilding community. People were saying that creatine was the next big thing, and it's endured for the last 2 decades. And I think probably even bigger now. People feel like it's an essential supplement. What does creatine do? And is it an amino acid? Is it a building block of muscularity?
So what creatine does, once you've ingested the creatine into your system, it's going to help with producing more ATP in your system. ATP is the first form of energy your body uses when it comes to any muscle-related work. So for instance, weight training or on-field, off-field training. When you have more ATP in your system, you have more energy to do the extra sets, the extra reps, and the extra workouts. Personally, I like to use this for my training just because it really helps out with the muscular endurance component of it, as well as it helps with concussion protocol. So when having more of the ATP in your system, it really helps with the brain function as well.
Okay, excellent. So ATP is an energy provider in
Correct.
layman's terms.
First form of energy your muscles use when training.
Awesome. We talked about it last time we were in here. A lot of people, especially in the summertime, are looking to cut weight, cut fat. What are the big fat loss supplements that are out there today? Back in the 90s, the big thing was ephedrine. Then the Canadian government banned ephedrine for a while. Now it's back. But what are the big fat loss supplements that people can get here at Popeyes?
So, I mean, all of our staff does recommend testing out see where your diet is to be able to help you in a healthier foundation. That way you're not spiking yourself up with too many supplements. But at the end of the day as well, once you have your diet in place, the supplements that I actually recommended to you will be able to help you get yourself into a leaner state and build a healthier foundation. If you're looking for something to help with plateau margin, there's things like CLAs, L-carnitines, and even a thermogenic. There's those 3 types of fat burners that will be able to help you pass those plateau margins.
Right. So products like thermogenic, which basically talks to the heat levels and the metabolism and metabolizing. So what's the key to getting in good shape fast? Because that's what everyone really wants to know. People don't want to hear, hey, you know what, I need to work out for a year to lose 20 pounds and get toned and lean. What is the quickest route to getting toned, lean, and in optimal health?
So that's the big thing. A lot of people come into the shop and they want quick results. The really big thing that you want to take into consideration is if you get quick results, you might have a counterbalance that isn't as good. So I always tend to recommend a slower progression is definitely a progression. Not saying that it's in a year process, but cleaning up the diet's really going to help out. Staying consistent with your training as well as staying consistent with the supplementation that you're taking. If you're taking a quality supplement, making sure that you're taking care of your health as well as your fitness, from there everything's going to come into place. So in layman's term, I would definitely say look out for the diet itself, put yourself in a caloric deficit, watch what you're eating, and keep your supplements and training consistent.
So you just talked about watching your calories. What do you think about intermittent fasting? Because that's the new buzz term. Everyone's talking about it. People are trying it. Obviously, it has to do with not eating and fasting for an extended period of time. What's your opinion of it?
So currently right now, to give an opinion of it, you have to test it out. Currently right now, I am in a fasted state. So I'm testing out the fasting diet right now just to see the results that are coming off of it. Granted, I have seen a lot of weight loss come off and from doing minimal amounts of cardio. So it's definitely interesting to see in place. I want to up my cardio levels just to make sure that the fasting levels and cardio levels are definitely in a good capacity. But I mean, granted, right now I've seen a lot of good results off of it. I have a lot of energy, but that could be that I'm utilizing a lot more of my food storage better.
Got it. In terms of sports and sports nutrition, you guys get athletes coming in all the time.
All the time.
And everybody's looking for a competitive edge, right? Back in the day, we knew that in the 60s and 70s, steroid use was really big. I think science now has almost eliminated the need for that, especially for these athletes, because the science behind these supplements is just incredible. I know there's a lot of talk about human growth hormone, etc. But what are athletes specifically looking for when they come in? So if I'm an elite soccer player and I come into Popeyes, what is it that the elite soccer player would need in terms of supplementation?
I mean, when it comes to needs and wants, you definitely want to isolate the goal in particular. If you have an individual that wants to get to that next level, you want to make sure that you're packing them up with quality items. So I mean, granted, I still wouldn't steer away from the items that we just went through today, just because they do build a healthier foundation as well as being able to help them progress in a more positive manner. Things that are able to help a more competitive edge when it comes to energy and things like that, or could be things as little as a carbohydrate supplement, things like glutamine to help out with muscle repairing as well as protecting the stomach liner, or even things like a probiotic to make sure everything that you're putting into your system is being broken down properly and flushing out through your system.
Good. A lot of good common sense advice. In terms of working out, like we said, you're a pro athlete yourself. What do you do in terms of your workouts? Do you have a split workout routine? Do you suggest more or do you suggest less is more? What's your routine in terms of working out? Would you say, cardio 3-4 times a week and then weight training twice a week? What's your recommendation for athletes?
Based on a personal level to what I run, especially in season, because in season and off season are going to be completely different. During an in-season training, the volume wouldn't go past 70% of my max weight. That way I'm not completely breaking down my muscle fibers that it affects my performance on the field. When it comes to off season, that's where things start to change. That's when you start to get more to the strength phase. If you notice there's areas of lacking, you go into a little bit of a hypertrophy phase where you're starting to build up more muscle fibers, lock in the strength of the strength phase, and then as you get into season, potentially go into a minor cut so that you're able to have that more lean physique as you go on. But when it comes to on-season, off-season, you want to make sure that you're constantly changing up the program so you don't hit a plateau. You hit a plateau into your training, things are going to flatline, you're not going to be able to excel as an athlete. And things to really take into consideration for those that are looking to reach that next level. Not everybody becomes an athlete, so you got to train like how not everybody does. You got to make sure that you're putting in the extra work, you're putting in the extra hours, you're making sure that you're eating properly and fueling your system. You got to make sure you're getting an adequate amount of sleep so that you're able to perform to the level that you look to.
Yeah, that's great advice, and sleep is super important. What's your number one selling shake here? Because you got this beautiful shake bar here. What's the number one selling shake here at Popeyes?
I mean, right now, if we do look at the protein levels, it seems like the chocolate peanut butter flavoring is really going through.
People just love chocolate.
They're loving
no matter
it right
what.
now.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I can see you've got probiotics, Activia. You've got everything up here. This is just phenomenal. If you are in the Woodbridge area, you need to check out this location. They've got everything here in terms of supplements. They've got this fantastic shake bar. Everything here is super fresh, and the staff here is super knowledgeable, as you know. How's the supplement business changing? Are you finding a lot more people are going to your website, ordering online? Is that starting to happen, or are people still coming in because they need your expert advice? Like if I came in here and spoke to you, you're so knowledgeable. I couldn't get that online. So do you find that people still want that face-to-face customer service, or are people starting to purchase online? And is that the future of the supplement business?
Well, when it does come to the future in the supplement industry, the big thing to take into consideration is efficiency and how quick it is. So a lot of people are going online to get their sourcing, but then those same individuals come into the shop and we ask them, hey, what supplements are you using right now? They tell us what they're using, and out of curiosity, we ask, why are you using that supplement? And when they don't have an answer, it really starts to break down like, okay, well, this is why you should take it, this is why you shouldn't take it. So I always recommend coming into the shop, even if it's just to collect information.
Right.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that everybody's living a healthier life, whether it's an athlete, whether it's the average Joe. We really want to make sure that they're being the best they can be. So, I mean, granted, coming into the shop and getting the information behind the products is highly recommended. And I mean, granted, it's going to be across with all the Popeyes. All of our staff are very knowledgeable. They'll be able to help to the fullest extent. And we will make sure that we are able to target goals. I mean, for instance, there's going to be something in the shop that potentially somebody knows about or somebody doesn't know about. And it's always good to get that extra information past that.
Right, that's amazing, and I totally agree. I still believe that face-to-face service, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people self-diagnosing on the internet, especially when they feel sick. They have a cough, they start saying, I got strep throat. It's the wrong approach. The right approach is to come in and speak to someone knowledgeable like yourself, because you could steer them in the right direction. I think, like you said, people come in and you ask them, hey, what supplement are you using? And they don't really know why. Then there's an issue there. That's a problem, right? They should come in and talk to someone who deals with supplementation on a daily basis and who can steer you in the right direction. So that's fantastic. I also believe that supplementation as an ingredient and as part of everyone's everyday healthy lifestyle is really critical nowadays. It wasn't in the past. People in the 70s and 80s maybe took a multivitamin, where today we talk about fish oils, omega-3s, and I think that's becoming part of the mainstream. Would you agree that most people do take some kind of supplement or vitamin on a daily basis to maintain general health?
I mean, granted, everybody should be taking additional vitamins due to the fact that the foods that we're getting aren't the same as the way they used to be. So, for instance, there was a study done about, I think it was 8 months ago, where in 1950, 2 peaches used to give you your daily serving of vitamin C. Guess how many peaches it takes now for you to get your daily vitamin C?
6.
Up it.
7.
Up it.
10.
Up it.
15.
28.
Unbelievable. So what's happened to our food chain? Like, what's going on? Why is there such a drastic difference?
So cloning is a really big thing going on right now. So once they get a good stock, they'll cut a branch, they'll put root hormone in it, and it'll regrow. So you're constantly, as you go on, you'll notice the percentage slowly goes lower and lower and lower. So, I mean, with a lot of the stuff that we do have in the shop, it is clinically proven to have the proper dosages in them. Whether it be with the multivitamins, the greens, the proteins, whatever it may be, the products that we do have is going to have exactly what it says on them. So then you don't have to worry about, oh, I ate 3 oranges today. Am I still getting my levels of vitamin C up? Or I had an apple today. Am I going to be okay? Whatever it may be, at least this way you know exactly what you're getting out of the product.
Got it. So what's your opinion of organic foods? Like, we've heard a lot in the media about false organic foods and claims of products being organic when they're really not. So is organic the way to go?
I mean, when it does come to organic foods, I'm no expert when it comes to that department. From studies that I've read myself, looking at the cloning process, when you clone a plant, it's going to produce the fruit, it's going to produce the seed. That is now a cloned seed. You plant that and it goes through the same process over and over and over again. So potentially it could be a positive, it could be a negative towards the organic style, just because realistically speaking, it came from one source that was, like I'm just giving an example. One source that was given pesticides, went through the whole growing process, you grabbed a seed from it, you went to plant it, now you're going through a new growing phase and it's going in an organic side. That still went through the process of what it was in the beginning.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on the vegan movement? Because obviously it's very big now. We see vegan restaurants popping up. What's your opinion of that? Is it a healthy lifestyle to be a vegan?
Well, I mean, I definitely support the vegan or vegetarian lifestyle due to the fact that they're watching what they're intaking. Their animal-based proteins aren't at a high whatsoever. I know for a vegetarian to vegan, it's a little bit different with the restrictions. But I mean, when it comes to preferences, when it comes to the society bringing in more of these options, I definitely think it's going to be more of a positive due to the fact that now you're going to be able to venture into a different industry, being able to as well keeping your system more alkaline with the food intake due to the fact that you're going to be able to cover it with veggies, carbs, fats, and no meat sources. But there's still going to be alternatives behind it. Like, for instance, soy. There's brown rice proteins, and there's things along the lines of tofu as well that you could look into. So I definitely think that it's going to be more positive than negative, having more options out there.
Awesome. Rob, I think this has been super informative. I love this store. It's super clean, really well organized. Like you said, your prices are amazing. If anyone needs any kind of supplement, this is the place. Come and visit Popeyes here in Woodbridge. You have other locations as well, but here in Woodbridge at Western Road and Highway 7, this is basically the center of Vaughan. So come and visit this store. They're super knowledgeable. Staff is great. It was fantastic having you. Thanks, Rob. Hopefully we're going to see you at Sportsplex. Semi-pro professional football player. He'll be training at Sportsplex shortly. I want to thank Popeyes Woodbridge for supporting us, and come and visit them. It is the #1 supplement store in York region. You need to be here. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on the next Tono's Everything podcast.